Everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It is Monday night, and you know what this is. It's Twisted Stitches. Welcome, everyone, to our show. I am really happy to see you all. You are starting to come on in. Good evening, Jillian. Here she is, ever ready. Jillian Goldridge is always right there. Bam, number one. Great to see you, Jillian. And Marianne Murray Summers is here. Hi, Robbie. I feel like I just saw you. I did just see you yesterday. And Donna Nahallo's with us. Nancy Robertson. Hello, ladies. How are you all? And Nancy Parks and Anna Maria. Anna Maria, nice tango. Anna was on she went to dance class. She did a tango last night on her dancing instructor. Very, very nice. Good job. And your dress was stunning. Oh my goodness. Nancy Parks is here. Mary Brigman. Hi, Darren Showers, Gloria Hummel Thies, and Cheryl Madruga Montana. That's
hi, Cheryl.
Thank you. Lisa Sanacona.
Yeah, that's what this.
Donna, hello, Lisa. Hi, Donna. It's great to see. Why we're getting some of Kate's fans chewing here tonight. That's marvelous. Donna Ellison, Deb Andretta. Hi there from Central Pennsylvania. And Lois Donato Gulder is with us. Kelly Kohlhofer, Cheryl Ballinger. Hi, Cheryl from Florida. And Kathleen Dayton. I'm glad you got it. You go, girl, Knit Kate, is what she said. There we go. And Roseanne Cirilli, Ricketson, Diane Rawding. The folks whose names I've never seen before. Thank you for joining us. I think I may have you to thank for that, Kate. Thank you.
Yes.
And Beth Ann Wilkes, Michelle Minga Lewis is here. My goodness, they are moving in. Let's see. Deb Massa, good evening. That's the first round. Phew, we did it. Paul is not with us tonight. Well, he's with us. He's just home.
Clarify that, please.
Susan Stewart. Hi, Susan. Hi, Laurie. But we do have with us Kate Ellison, and I'm really happy to bring Kate onto our show. Kate and I met at our knitting retreat, not this last year, but at the one that we did in Massachusetts at the Red Lion Inn.
Right.
And I learned very much by mistake at that retreat that Kate was also a knitting instructor. And we learned that because our dear friend Jillian, who was going to be doing a stitch clinic on steeking, had COVID. And so she couldn't help us. And very, very nicely, Kate stepped in and became our coach for that session. So thank you so much again for doing that. And oh, look at this. Wait, Jenny Giacomini is here. She said, hi, Kate, is that the cowl from the retreat? So
yes, it is, Jenny. Nice to hear from you. Yes, it is.
So this is the Killer Queen cowl. Susan Stewart says, nice Killer Queen cowl. This was one of our retreat projects from last year. And Kate and a couple of people decided to put a little sparkle in there.
Yeah, Liz Katzman gets the credit for that because she had done it and I was envious. So I actually changed my yarn. I had
yarn envy.
Terrible. But thank you for having me. And the retreat is just fabulous. If any of you haven't been, try to get there because it's just so much fun and you meet so many new people. And we have a group of friends that we met there and now we stay in touch.
Yep, that's right. Like Miriam Maduro, who is, she says, I love the sparkle. And Miriam is joining us from Curacao this week, as she was last week. And there's Linda Fields from the retreat as well.
Oh, hi, Lou.
So I just love how this happens. This is the fun part of what we do at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. By connecting people when we have our retreats. It's the most important thing to me. Oh, well, number one is that y'all have a good time. But number two, that you get to meet some great like-minded people and some friendships form. And we have a couple of groups like that have happened as a result of the retreat. So thank you for being here. We also have Jean Lewis is here with us.
Hi, Jeannie, and hi, Joan.
Rita Johnson Carterman, good evening. And she's saying beautiful Killer Queen. Yes, it is. And that sparkle is definitely a thing, I'm thinking. So one of the things that I love about this is the contrast of colors in that cowl. And we're going to get to your little story in a moment, but I just want to share with the folks last year. Well, I have two balls of this already wound because I somehow made a boo-boo and wound the wrong color yarn for someone. But I must have been thinking about my favorite color when I did that, because this is one of my absolute favorite colors. So I am about to do my Killer Queen cowl in these two colors. And I also have Sparkle Envy. So I'll be putting this. So we don't have the Killer Queen on our website, but certainly something that we can put together for you. So just one of those little tricks. And Kristen Park says that cowl is gorgeous, and it is. It is. So, like I said, I learned a lot about about your instruction by mistake, but that certainly isn't something new for you. So, how did you get involved in all this?
I've been knitting since I was young, like a lot of us. I mean, really young. And my mother was a knitting instructor. So she taught me a lot. And I knitted with her for a long time. And I didn't knit a lot until I had kids and I was a stay-at-home mom. So, and then I started learning different things about knitting, not just picking up a pattern, picking up yarn. I started to learn more about how to read your knitting, what makes a knit stitch, and different technical things. And then my mother got sick and eventually passed away, unfortunately. But I kind of wound up assuming her knitting classes. So that's how I kind of got into teaching knitting classes back, I think, in 2009. And since then, I have been teaching continuously. And
Really?
what I do is I kind of call it like directed knitting. So I have students that come on a regular basis, week after week after week, and I fix all their issues. I do little workshops, and then we usually have some project going on that I work with them week after week.
So Kristen Parker says, I hear your Massachusetts accent. She's from Worcester.
Yeah, Worcester.
How'd you like how I said that? Worcester. I do
Very
my
good. I have some friends I met and I say worsted weight yarn. They said, what? Worsted.
It is Worcester. It's Worcester, but it's Worcester.
Yeah, worsted.
That's right. That's right. So you meet with these folks every week and kind of ongoing help, if you will.
Yeah, ongoing help, ongoing education. We start the class with a little workshop. So we're doing now short rows. After the first of the year, we had done increases, decreases. So it's kind of reteaching basics and techniques, because many of us, you don't get to knit all the time. You pick up your knitting, you can't remember where you were on it. It's hard to read a lot of patterns. And then you look at a technique and you say, oh, I know SSK, but I can't remember how to do it. And yes, you can go on the internet. There's wonderful videos there. But I think for most people, there's nothing beats hands-on, one-on-one, personal attention.
Right. And yes, absolutely. I know that we have right now we're doing a sweater class here, and we do have someone remote who joins us every week. And when I can't, because I can't work with her face to face in the room, I oftentimes have my light overhead, my overhead light working so that she can see my hands and she can see exactly what I'm doing. And we make that as one-on-one as we can. But nothing beats that.
Nothing beats it. Yeah.
And be able for somebody to be able to say, no, wrap your yarn the other way. Yeah. Even though Jane Dickens says, it's Jane D. Hi to both of you.
Hi, Jane.
And there's little Fanny right there in the picture there. So teaching, you've been teaching for a long time. What do you love to teach?
Oh boy, now people ask me that all the time. I love to teach whatever anyone wants to learn. So I don't narrow it down. My absolute favorite thing to do is to fix problems. I find it fascinating if I can look at the knitting, figure out where they went off, drop stitches down, flip them around, whatever. That's what I love doing. But I have a teaching background, and it is wonderful when you teach something, whether it be knitting or anything,
Mhm.
and you see a student get it.
Right,
You
right,
know,
yes,
their
yeah,
eyes just light up, and it's such a great feeling. So, that's kind of what I like to do. I like to, look at different ethnic types of knitting. You know, if it's Portuguese knitting, if it's a Latvian braid,
uh-huh,
Estonian noops, just different things like that I like to introduce, students to also.
uh-huh. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, all right. So was I was going somewhere and then I twisted and hurt my back when I did that. So when you're doing the fixing the mistakes, and one of the things that I find interesting, coming from a teaching background as well, I taught adults, not children, but helping them to see what you're doing, and so
Yes.
that the next time there is a mistake, they can at least know what it is that needs to be done. And we've got one knitter here, um, who is just she's sitting in there, she's in our Thursday morning group, and she'll knit and knit and knit. And I'm even if I'm here at my desk, I've always got one eye watching her because she's the newest person in the
Yep.
room. And I'll watch her, and then all of a sudden, she's always counting because she needs to know. And and then she's so cute. I'll watch her, and she'll go,
Mhm.
and then I should count it the third time, and I'll say to her, "Okay, what's going on?" And now she will say, "I have more stitches than I need, but when I look at this right here, it doesn't look right."
Yep.
And
That's the
so
best thing.
that's that aha moment that
Yes.
we hope to see, that we work to see. Because yeah, we can fix a mistake, but helping them to recognize it the next time
Yep.
it happens and go, "Oh, I know Kate did this, but I'm
Yep.
not ready to try it yet, but at least I know I can tell Kate when I see her that this is what needs to be done, and or
Yes.
that's what I think I did wrong." And that is an aha moment, and that is wonderful. Sherry Cox is saying that I love that aha moment, and
Yep.
that is it is a great moment.
I tell my students a lot, I say, just try it. You know something's wrong, take a look at it, see if you can figure it out and try it.
Yep,
If you make it worse, I can fix it,
right, right.
but you learn more by trying than you do by just someone telling you or fixing it for you.
Yeah, yeah, and it is rewarding when when you're working with people and you see them get it.
Yeah.
It's like,
And they get excited.
yeah, yeah. Well, they want to do it.
Yeah.
And so, is there something that when you're teaching, you find that um, that is more challenging to people than not necessarily a stitch, but something about learning that might be more challenging to people than other things?
I think the most challenging thing I see is people reading and understanding directions. Um, I try to explain to people everything is a knit and a purl,
Yep.
or it's how you manipulate them, move them, whatever.
Right.
But most of the people I find the biggest challenge is reading the instructions.
Absolutely. We couldn't have rehearsed that better. If we would have rehearsed it, that's exactly what I would have hoped you'd say,
Yeah,
because it is, I think, the biggest challenge people have. Once you know the knit stitch and once you know the purl stitch, the next thing you have to learn is how to read the
yeah,
pattern.
yep,
And sometimes they read ahead too far, and they want to know how to finish the pattern before they know how to start the project.
yep.
It's like
And
it's not
I'm
about
sure you found that many patterns do have errors.
right. Yes,
So,
they do. Unfortunately, they do.
especially no offense, but especially a lot of stuff that comes off of Ravelry that maybe hadn't been as well tech edited, or but you look and see how many people have made it. Are there any issues?
Right.
But yeah, usually, or I explain to people you missed the little comma there, or you know,
Or that star, the star
yes,
on the next star. So let's see what we got going on here. So Rita Johnson Cotterman says, "I feel so good when I can fix it."
yes, it's
That's right.
very empowering, Rita.
Absolutely. And if you can't fix it, at least you know it's there.
Yeah.
And then you can, my suggestion always is put one of those little pin markers, pull that
Yep.
if you dropped a stitch, or if you think it's back here on the neck, when you get to that next row, you get to that point and then look at it and
Right.
see, if it's there, or you put a pin on the stitch and then you can pull it up if it's a drop stitch.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So, and Nancy Parks says, one thing I learned is to put my knitting down, put down my knitting when I get
Yeah.
tired. Yes. Yep. Last night I fell asleep while I was knitting. Does it happen to anybody? Do you fall asleep while you're knitting? I think I'm so tired.
I
You
don't
know?
know.
Nobody knows.
If I fell asleep, I don't remember that I fell asleep.
Well, I'm kind of mid-stitch sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we had an event here at the shop, and then I got home and I don't know what, it was just a busy day, busy. Before you know it, I finally sit down to knit. I'm finishing a sleeve, and I think I had 3 rows of ribbing done, and I felt my head drop. It's like, oh, this is not going to be good. So, okay. So, and now I'm getting the, yes, I fall asleep too. Wendy, thanks, Donna Nahalo. You fall asleep. Let Wendy Lonker. Yes, I woke up with my needles in my lap. Yeah, I do it all the time. So Darren Showers says, what do you recommend for teaching people with arthritis who can't bend their fingers well? That was something I ran into trying to teach this winter. Ugh.
Well, Darren, it's a great question, and it's probably something that most of us will experience at some point in our lives as we age. A couple of things. The continental knitting is a lot less, throwing and manipulating, so that could help. A lot of people like to wear those compression gloves,
Yep,
which helps, with circulation, or even just doing some hand exercises before you start, getting the joints working, and maybe putting, some warm compresses on. But that's a tough one.
Yep. The stretching, we all know that the more you use your joints, the better they will be for you, even when you have things. So maybe some little finger exercises and like that. If someone else is an instructor out there and they've run across that, please let us know. Or if someone has arthritis,
right, that'd be great to know.
Please let us know. So let's see. Rita Cotterman says she's better at written instructions over charted, but I'm trying. Keep trying.
Oh, the charting is so much easier.
Oh, it's so much easier. I love it. Once you make yourself do it. So do you have some tips for reading charts better? I have a couple of ideas, but I want to.
Yes, I do. I take colored pencils, and so I will color one of the little symbols. Let's say it's a knit in the back, a twisted stitch. I'll color that blue, and then on the chart, I'll color it blue. Okay. So when I'm looking quickly at the chart, I can see I have a yellow, blue, blue, yellow. Then I look over, and it does make it visually easier for me reading charts. Plus, line markers, whether you use a magnetic board, if you use Post-it notes, anything that can block out only what you need to see.
Right.
I think people also use Knit Companion. I personally don't, but I know a lot of people do, and that has a highlighter right on it, so you can highlight the row you're on.
Yep, that's great. I used Knit Companion a while back. Now I use both. My iPads are being used at the shop, so I'd have to get a third iPad if I wanted to use it again. But it is really great. Knit Companion is a wonderful source and a great tool. One of the things that I do with charts, 2 things that I do with charts. One is I enlarge it.
Oh, good idea. Yes.
Because a lot of times those charts, especially if you've got a large chart, I find it better to enlarge it because the squares are so tiny that I can't see. So if I make it bigger, even if it's a little blurry, at least I can see the boxes.
Yeah.
And then I do the same thing you do, but I put K's and P's. And I'll do a knit row or purl row so that once I get the rhythm of that chart, I know what the symbol means. But for those first few rows, I will use that. I'll create my own visual for each of the boxes. And And then, of course, remembering that when you're working in the round, you're always
Right.
reading from the right. And when you're going back and forth, the odd rows are from the right and the even rows are from the left. Just a couple of things for those of you who get challenged by charts. So let's see here. Donna Hull falls asleep. Lisa Simmons falling asleep and rolling over on a needle. That'll wake you up.
Oh.
I'm thinking so. So Sherry Cox says, and it messes them up when there are errors. I wish designers would have their patterns test knit. Paulette, I do it all the time too. Yeah, there are so many designers who have test knitters. I do my best to test knit for people whenever I can. I don't always have the time. Whitney, Terrell, and I are working on some projects this year together. So I always say to her, as soon as you've knitted it, send the pattern over to me so that I can test knit it.
Yeah.
It's so important. It is absolutely imperative, I think. And one of the things I've learned, and Kate, you probably have experienced this too, not everybody who puts the pattern on Ravelry is a designer.
Exactly.
And so you have to remember that there are some people in there who are kind of keeping track of their patterns, their own little patterns that they create in their mind. They're not necessarily pattern writers or designers. And so, yes, I would keep that. And I definitely believe in contacting the designer if you have questions.
Yes, I've done it many times, and they're more than happy to, help clarify something.
Right. And you, like me, profess that we are not designers.
Yeah, I don't like to write patterns. I'm not a pattern writer.
It's not my thing. I really do appreciate the people who do design, and I count on them. I count on them, whether they're a newer designer or experienced. You mentioned before, always looking to see how many patterns this person has posted, how many people have knitted it,
right,
and their comments, and that really does make a difference when you're looking at what you want to do.
Yep.
So let's see. Okay, let's Linda Crystal Young. I've dozed off and watching a show. Yeah, it happens all the time. Now Lisa Simmons recently had a stroke, and she said my occupational therapist was impressed with my knitting. She said they said it helped with her recovery, and so I'm sure that small motor coordination, the mind to hand, all those things. It's so therapeutic knitting, don't you think?
Oh yes, yeah. I that expression, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting.
Yeah,
and it's like I couldn't sit still. I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of inherent in us now. Linda Crystal Young says, for hand issues, watch what size needles and yarns you use. Sometimes larger or smaller is better. Great advice, Linda. I find that with my arthritis, I do better with smaller needles.
Yeah.
Once I hit a 9, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've knitted with 11s and 13s, and I plow through it, but it's my thumbs are just not happy. You're holding larger, more girth in your hands. It's just a lot of movement.
Yes. Yep. My mother had rheumatoid arthritis, and her rheumatologist told her to just knit as much as she could to keep her joints flexible. And she got to the point where she really just liked using like 1s and 2s. So she was just making socks. But everybody loves socks, so it worked out fine.
Right. You knew what you were getting, right? Yeah. So Kristen Parker says that she loves charting. I love charting the more I try and never thought I would. Isn't it great? And she loves your colored pencil idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Jules Palmado.
Oh, that's my daughter. Hi, Jules.
It's my daughter. Well, she says, I'm hooked on my Knit Companion app for anything charted. And Donna Ellison says, thanks to Kate's instruction, I've gained more confidence as a knitter. Boy, as an instructor, you can't hope for more than that from someone.
Yeah. And she's gone really well. Her knitting is fabulous.
Well, that's great. That's great. Because I remember when she was coming to the retreat the first time, she kept saying, I'm not the good knitter. I'm not the good knitter. Kate's the good knitter.
No,
But
she does quite
I'm
well.
seeing you, Donna.
Quite well.
You do nice work. Very, very nice work. And it's confidence. And one of the things that I tell people too is courage comes before confidence. You have to have courage to try. So, congratulations, Donna, on having the courage to trying and then having a good instructor behind you to kind of guide you through the process and help you get past those mistakes and understand how to fix them. Because that's the best thing that you could do. That's a wonderful compliment. Donna says her compression gloves work great. Thank you. Can you download Knit Companion on your phone? You can.
Probably be too small to see.
But I would make me nuts. I do know people who follow patterns on their phone, and God bless you if you can see it. But I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
It's just I need a bigger screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love my screen in the shop here. I don't even know how big it is, but it's giant. and it's really funny because people will come in and they'll want to see what I'm looking at on Ravelry, and they'll come like, wow, look at those pictures. Let's see what else we have. We knew what you meant, Miriam. Miriam's cute. She's got Nick Companion, then she put Nick Communium, and then she said, okay, too many mistakes.
What is she doing in Curacao?
She's resting.
No, so I thought maybe she might be having a cocktail or two.
I was just going to say she's probably having a cocktail. Look at that. Look at this. This is so funny. It must be all that sun, Miriam. So for those of you who have not been to one of our retreats, this is what happens. You get to know the people and you become friends.
Yes.
You just love it. Just like the people who come in the shop all the time. And some of our fans who I've never met, I feel like I know because we've had so many conversations, whether it's here or in the shop or on Zoom calls or picking out projects for retreats. It's all good. Bev Reiser says she writes out her chart on a different piece of paper. I write it out on a different piece of paper or if it's printed. So I get some people do that with their charts. They take the chart and they translate it onto the written instructions. I always find them to be so long. Yeah. Then
I'm working on a project right now that is all written. And it's just so long that I every time I'd look down and look back up, I'd lose my place. Yeah. So I actually found a website that had knitting charts you can make. So it's just like a grid and you can put the symbols in, and the symbols didn't necessarily match what I was doing, but I just changed the symbol into what I wanted it to be. Right. So I wound up charting out. Yeah. I wound up charting out the directions. So
what a great idea. What a great idea. Now it's always really nice when an instructor or a designer will chart and write.
Yeah.
So whatever works for you is great. But I will always challenge people to work through the chart. And the more you work at it, the better you will get at it. Just like the knit stitch when you learned it. Tina Yakovu says, I love my magnetic board. I love it. I use it. I used to have Post-its all over the place.
Yeah, that's true too.
I remember Tina, she would work on a project and she'd have her pattern next to her on the chair, and then she'd knit, and then she'd turn, and then she'd knit, and then she'd turn, and she kept losing her place. Well, sure, it's like watching a tennis match.
Yeah.
So it's yes, good for you. I'm so glad that you invested in that magnetic board. Jessica A's. Hi, Jessica from Double the Stitches. She says, shout out to my tech editor who makes sure my math works. That is so correct. Yep. Because if the math doesn't work, we're all scratching our head. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to have 27 stitches. Why do I have 30? Wait a minute. Wait. And so maybe in the designing process while you're knitting, because I know I've heard from a lot of designers that they knit along and then they take their notes, and then they knit along and then they take their notes. I don't know about you all, but when I'm test knitting something, if it's all going along smoothly, I forget that I'm test knitting it. And I'm just knitting, and then all of a sudden I say to myself, oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be making sure this is right. So,
well, then it probably is, because
right.
it's such an easy rhythm for you. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So let me see. Oh, there's Paul. Hi, everybody. It's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Boy. Okay, Yarn Boy, you can tell he's feeling better. So
hi, Paul.
Kathleen Dayton says, let me put this on the screen. Susie Lodge says, hi, Kate. Loves being a newbie in Kate's class.
Yep. So Susie just joined us, and so far so good, I think, huh, Susie? So, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Linda Crystal Young, I had a pattern recently that had over 50 projects completed, yet the written instructions didn't match the charts. Oh. I reached out to the designer and he apologized and updated the pattern. They don't know if you won't help them.
That's right. Yep.
If there's a mistake, rather than getting yourself frustrated, it's like if you didn't have a good meal at the restaurant, don't give them a bad review. Talk to the manager.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's how you're going to get it fixed, because they don't know if something is not right.
Right.
Mary Knockwood says, I have a bag with that saying, but I don't know what the saying is. Oh, what courage comes before confidence? I don't know. But whatever it was, I'm sure it's profound. Cheryl, Kate asked Jules if she will give us a class on Knit Companion.
Oh, okay.
How's that?
That sounds good.
Now your students are asking for a class. Donna Ellison is loving you there. I like YouTube videos. Marianne Murray says, I like YouTube videos. I can watch them over and over.
Yeah.
Till I understand. The nice thing about a YouTube video is you can stop it.
Yeah.
Do what it says. Play it. Do what it says. It's the start and stop and start and stop. Especially when you don't have help nearby.
Yeah. Yeah. And you realize there are a lot of people that are out in a knitting shop wasteland, where, because so many shops have closed.
Yes.
But they just don't have that at their disposal.
Right. And that's why, I remember when during COVID, and it kind of stuck when Paul says, we're your local yarn shop, just a mouse click away. If you need us for something, we're here. So Nan Gordon says, I use it on my phone, the free version. So that's Knit Companion. Yeah. Liz Katzman says she uses it on her phone too. It lets you zoom in. Good to know.
Okay. Yep.
Knit Companion now works with Windows. Jillian is telling us. I try using it on my phone. Luinda says, I try using it on my phone, but it goes to sleep too often and I have to unlock it.
Yeah. True. Yep. That's another good point.
Does anybody have row counter?
I use that.
Yep. So this is my little row counter app. And whoops, there you go. And I use that all the time for counting rows. Even if I am using something else, like sometimes you have to do your decreases or increases every so many rows. And so this is a great way to keep track of that. I am more apt to click to click this for the next row than I am to turn a row counter. I don't know why, but it seems to work better for me. I just tap it and off I go. Miriam is having a great time. She says, Jessica A's Stitch Fiddle is a great free option to play with charting your own designs or written patterns that aren't charted for you. So that's called Stitch Fiddle. Let me put that up on the screen for everybody to see.
That's great. Thank you, Jessica.
And the great exercise is with twisting between instructions. Great exercise with the twisting between instructions and your good exercise. Yeah, right. That's for me right now. I have to do this.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out if I have a rotator cuff injury. That's the new thing with Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. I'm getting too old. Highlighter tape works best for keeping your place. That's from Sherry Cox. And Susan Stewart says, another plug for the retreat. I met all my best knitting buddies at the retreat. Here, as Paul would say, that warrants being posted on the screen. Thank you, Susan. We have a good time. So Lisa Simmons says we must have been working on the same project. Michelle Barrett says, I prefer written, but have just started reading charts. Stay with it, Michelle.
Yep.
Stay with it. Mary Knockwood, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting. Miriam says it's a knitting wasteland in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Thank you. I'm thankful for my knitting friends. So this is really cool. Nan Gordon says, I also use a row counter. Rita Cotterman says, I love the Cocoa Knits row counters. What else do we have? My goodness, I love the participation we get here. Darren loves Stitch Fiddle. That's great. Darren, I know Darren's working on some things, doing a little bit of designing. Good for you, Darren. Luinda says, I love the click of a classic Clover row counter.
Yeah,
click,
that is fun.
Click. Yep.
Until your grandkids come over and decide to just click away at it. Which I know many of you out there have had. Yep.
That's funny. Reminds me of the time I was helping my son. It was going back to the 90s, helping him. So I'm at our computer typing a report for him, an essay, and all of a sudden he says, "What's this button?" And he turns the key and the whole thing shuts down. So I get it. But yeah. Jules is saying, sorry, Grammy.
Oh, yeah. Yes, because she was over the other day and she said, don't touch that. That's Grammy's counter. I wasn't counting, thank heavens. But they love that. And they like the retractable tape measures.
Oh, snap.
Once you push the button. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are always fun, too.
Yep.
I use a pad, and Nancy Parks uses a pad of paper to track rows and increases. I don't know why, but row counters don't work for me. Find what works for you. That's the most important.
That's exactly right. Nancy, I'm the same way. I still like padded paper. And with the clicking row counters, I can't remember if I clicked it or not. Did I click it before the row, after the row? So Nancy, I'm with you with padded paper and pencil.
Rita Johnson Cotterman says, my 6-year-old granddaughter wants to learn to knit. We bake together. Hey, give her a set of needles, give her a pair of needles and a ball of yarn. And even if she just watches you.
Yep.
That's how I learned with my grandma.
Yep.
And back then, all she used was cotton and a little teeny tiny crochet hook. Little itty bitty ones.
Yeah, like the crochet thread.
Yep. Cotton thread. That's what I used. But now we also used to walk uphill in the snow to go to school.
Yeah.
We really did. But it wasn't 6 miles.
Yeah.
3 blocks. So, well, this is great. So we're going to have to see if we can maybe find a couple of things that we can do together. Do you have some projects there that you've that are some favorites for you?
I do. Some things that we talked about was learning how to knit plaid.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
So this is a fun project. And in a class, we could do like a swatch about that big.
That's
so
fun.
It's knitting and a little bit of crochet. But you don't need to know how to crochet.
I was going to say, you don't even have to know how to crochet. No. It's really doing a chain stitch up there. That's fantastic. Yep. That would be a fun class. And what did you call that one?
I don't know if I should even say this. I call it the Berry Burr scarf because I can't say Burberry.
You didn't say it.
Nope, I didn't say it. And then this is always fun. And some of the girls that I met at the retreat, we did another weekend together. All of us went away and did a little weekend knitting weekend. And we tried brioche knitting. So this is one color brioche. And then if you get adventurous, you can go into 2-color brioche. And then really adventurous, you can do 2-color brioche and cables.
Oh, sure.
So this is if you really just want to lose your mind. And this is another fun one. This hat, because this teaches corrugated rib. Whoops, where's my camera? Corrugated rib, a Latvian braid, 2-color knitting.
Yeah, that's cute too.
But yeah, I mean, we've done many things in our classes. So
that's
just,
great.
Whatever people want to learn.
Right. So Donna Nahalo says learning plaid would be fun. It does look like a lot of fun. And
it is fun. And I've seen so many different color variations. You don't have to do it in that color combination. So,
So did you create a scarf with that? Is that what you did?
Yes. So I have a scarf pattern that I did write up. So I have the scarf pattern written up. And again, you can change the colors and do whatever colors you want. And again, if we did like a 3-hour class, we could get a swatch done. And people could do as much as they want during the class, but then they would learn how to do this chain stitch before you leave.
Right.
Because
And
that's
that
what
would be the creating the plaid.
Right.
It'd be fun. Maybe we'll do something like that. So Cherry Cox is saying, at 5 years old, my granddaughter learned to knit by sitting on my lap and putting her hands in mine until she got the gist of it. Wow, that's young, 5.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah.
Good for you. And then Kelly Kohlhofer says, I need to learn plaid and brioche. 2-color brioche was easier for Linda Crystal Young than 1 color. Yeah. I think it is. For me, it was too. I learned that too.
Because it's visual. You can see what stitch is doing what.
Right. And Jillian Goldridge says an entrelac class would be fun. And
entrelac is fun. Yep.
Yep. And Jean Lewis says that was a fun class, and I love my berry burr scarf. That's great. And Rita says, Sherry Cox, that's a very good idea to have her sit in your lap. Yep. And that's getting that just getting that rhythm of what to do with the needles. So Kate, we're gonna have to kind of think about what we might be able to do together. I mean, it's a little trip for you, but if we do something in one day, that we could make that work.
And I think we talked about, and remind me if I'm right or wrong, on March 16th, coming to the shop and doing a Meet the Teacher Day.
Yeah, well, we'll work on that. I have to make sure that we have, is that a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, yeah.
So, but it won't be an instructing day.
Correct. Right? It would just be meet, but I'd be willing to
a meet and greet. Yeah, I have it right here. Meet and greet, Kate Ellison.
Help people, give them, some help and show them what I do and
tips and techniques kind of thing. Yeah. Yep. Oh, like a little open house day. Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be
because I'd like to bring some of my knitters from Massachusetts.
Yay. We'll get to meet some of your folks. My people will talk to your people. Your people will talk to my people. And look at Miriam. I'll be there. Will you be back by then, Miriam? That'd be fantastic. We'd love to see you. I can't wait to see everybody. So I'm going to, we're going to work on that. We'll start firming the ideas up, the plans up for that.
Right.
In the meantime, I'm going to run over and get a name from our
yes.
So for those of you who are new tonight, Kate's fans and others who may not have ever been on our show, we have a sharing bucket, and we asked that you share our posts and our lives with your other knitting friends and help to grow our community. And every time you share live, by making sure your notifications are public, when you share publicly, we get to see that you shared it. Your name goes in our sharing bucket. And every time we go live, we go into the sharing bucket and we share back. So let me come back and get a name out of the sharing bucket here. If I could show you how big it was, it's so heavy I can't lift it. So I'm going to pull a name up. I saw Paul. Paul is asking Miriam to please bring back Lumpia. You're funny, Paul. And tonight's winner is Anna Maria Milani. Anna Maria Milani, thank you so much, Miss Dancing Girl. Thank you for sharing Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. Kate, I can't thank you enough for being with us tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I can't wait to have you come to the shop for meet and greet, and then have you then come and do a class for us.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I always have so much fun chatting with you. So
thank you so much.
And again, you have a fabulous yarn shop, so everybody should at least try to check it out at some point.
Well, I can't wait for you all to get to see it. So good night, Kate. Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night, and I hope you feel better.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Bye, everyone.
They tell me. Bye-bye.